Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Jessie Reyes. I'm the marketing director here at Cadmium. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar. Today is Mastering Event Success, Unleashing the Power of Seamless Exhibitor Management. I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Allison Zamiti, product specialist in our Event Tech product line here at Cadmium. Hi, Allison. Welcome.
Hey, Jessie. Hey, everyone.
Hey, good. So Allison, as a product specialist for Cadmium's Event Tech product line, goes above and beyond implementation, providing comprehensive training on Cadmium products to internal team members and extending support to both new and existing customers. Allison, thank you for being with us today. You want to give us a little background and a little bit more about what you do here at Cadmium?
Sure. So I work on one of the event tech operations teams. I've been with Cadmium since 2016. I have touched just about every product at this point, but Expo is my main one. It's near and dear to my heart. I'm sure I've talked to plenty of you in the audience, so don't be afraid to say hi. I am in the boomerangs constantly. I'm in the emails, I'm in the Zooms. I like to set up the rental process for everyone. If people throw tough questions at me, I'll work through it all. Hit me with a hard scenario, I'll come up with a creative solution. It's what keeps me going, honestly.
Yes, perfect. And we always get great feedback on Allison. Our customers love her. So she's here today to talk to us about Exhibitor Harvester, Exhibitor Harvester. So we do a lot of webinars, and oftentimes our webinars are more, on the attendee side or on the speaker side, because those are very important audiences, right? And there's a lot to manage with attendees and with speakers. But I think exhibitors and sponsors have like this other whole section of needs and wants and, managing them, not only managing our exhibitors and our sponsors, but also there's sometimes one of the bigger revenue generating, parts of an event for our customers. So also being able to keep track of that revenue and making sure that we're making the most out of those events. So for today, we're going to go through a couple of different things with our exhibitors. We're going to talk about super users. What makes a super user? What do they do? How do they take full advantage of the Exhibitor Harvester? We're also going into our fan favorites. These are some of the tools within the Exhibitor Harvesters that our customers really love and, are constantly being used, and they tell us about, and they're, people really just get the most out of these tools. And then also, because Allison is such an expert, she's going to talk about some of the hidden gems. These are other tools within the Exhibitor Harvester that maybe aren't as popular, don't get that much love, but they're great tools that should definitely be being used by everyone. And then we'll finish up with data flow to our other products, just because we know how important it is to be able to get that data from our different products within Cadmium and have that data talk to each other. And so, you're not doing the same thing over and over again. So without anything else, let's jump into our super users. Allison, tell us about our super users.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not going to focus on specific clients for this segment, because honestly, everyone can be a super user. I've seen small harvesters do really crazy and unusual things in the best possible way. So we're going to talk what makes a super user, what defines it, how do they become a super user. So our super users take full advantage of everything we have to offer. They are going to be using all of the fun little tools and tricks within it. So we're going to start with, they keep all the data in the Expo Harvester. Expo is one of the only products that can almost stand completely on its own. And what I mean is we can have the full rental process where clients come in and they'll do full booth rentals and sponsorship sales through the Expo, and then they will keep all of the data collection there. They use the tasks. They don't only use the 5 basic ones, they use all of the tasks. So if they need to collect any sort of like on-site insurance policies, they need to have links to Freeman or other decorators, like, okay, you need to place an order, you have a task for that. They don't need to go anywhere else but the Cadmium system. They like to keep everything here. They also offer different sponsorship levels within our system. They can break it down, gold, platinum, silver. They can also do, are you a virtual sponsor? Are you a physical sponsor? Will you have a booth with your sponsorship table? So there's many different ways they can customize it to them. They also can collect payments directly in Expo. It's one of the only Cadmium products that can collect payments directly in the system. They don't need to link out to any other merchant processors from that. We work with the client, the association group. They'll bring in their merchant processor. We throw the information into our system, link it up, and the payments flow directly through us into PayPal or Braintree or Stripe or whoever you're using. We're the middleman in that situation. So they also know that the Expo Harvester collects all the data, but the attendees view the data on the EventScribe app and website. Nothing ever needs to stay exactly in its little box in Harvester. It can be pushed out to the greater good. We can see all the fun logos and products and meet the booth reps, who are going to be on site. All of that data is available in the EventScribe products as well.
Allison, to that point, not to interject here.
Yeah.
So I think, and we are going to talk about how, the information flows and stuff, but that, if we want to take a step back of like, what is the Exhibitor Harvester and sort of what the main purpose of the Exhibitor Harvester. And then I want you to sort of touch on that, on like, not only is the information that you put in the Harvester for you as an event manager, as a sponsor manager, but how then that information that can be shown to the attendees and how you can, have a difference in information that you see on your end and some of it that's shown to the attendees. So if you could take a step back and like, What is the Exhibitor Harvester? Somebody comes to you like, what is this?
What is this? All right, I get asked all the time, what is a harvester? It is a collection process, right? So the harvester is in the fields collecting all the grains and everything. We collect the data, mainly focused on exhibitor sponsorships. That's it. Whether you're using the rental process or not, the Expo Harvester holds the company names, the exhibitors, sponsors, all of the booth admins, the logos, their booth on the floor plan, any sort of data related to a company that is in a show, the Expo Harvester can hold in some form or another.
And then, so to that, there's a lot of information. So as I'm going to play the role of the event manager, so there's a lot of information that I want to see as the event manager, right? Yes. Contact info, payment info, all of that stuff.
Sure.
I can see that via my Cadmium portal. So I'm seeing that in the back end. Mm-hmm. But then I can pick and choose and say, hey, you know what? I'm also using the EventScribe mobile app and website. I want to make sure that this is how they're listed. I want to make sure that maybe if there's like certain ribbons or colors associated with a level of sponsorship, like, can I have that be shown via the mobile app?
Of course, absolutely. So we collect data for internal use and then for the EventScribe use. Some of the data shown on EventScribe, the company name, the company contact information, logos, if you're using the sort of virtual booth package, which is a little bit more in-depth. You get an intro video, you get additional PDF links and websites. So if you have more than just one product you're showing, multiple websites right there. You have any sort of links you want. Usually it's a main company website.
Perfect. No, yeah. So I love that. And then one of the things that you were also going to touch on with the super users,
yes,
is lead retrieval. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Cadmium has its lead retrieval product. I have been on site to support this, and I love seeing how easy it is for exhibitors to use because it is all handled within Expo, and then it spans to the mobile app for the on-site use. But in the Expo side, how it's all set up, it goes through the tasks, right? The show management usually assigns a certain number of licenses to a company, and then that company goes in and says, okay, we're going to assign it to our 3 people on site. We have 3 licenses for 3 people. Perfect. And then they can customize questions that they know they're going to ask attendees who are coming up to their booth. They can customize tags, which are just quick identifiers. Like, okay, I get someone walking up to me. This is a brand new person. Maybe they're interested in product ABC. I'm going to follow up with an email. So all of that information can be recorded in the tasks in Expo. And also it is shown to you live. So any information collected on site is automatically uploaded to the reports. So it's kind of as you're doing it, it's available to you.
So not only do me as the meeting, planner, the meeting manager, do I have all my exhibitor and sponsor information in one place, then the exhibitor, the sponsor, the same place that they're logging into to put in payment, to put in their information, company name, logos, all that stuff. That is also the same place where they'd be able to download leads or put in the lead retrieval information and those details.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
Invoicing and any of that kind of stuff that usually is the sponsorship.
All the good stuff. If you have sponsored presentations, all reports are in the exhibitor portal for them.
Which I was just going to ask about sponsored presentations and sponsorship and marketing opportunities with sponsors. I know the mobile app being a great place for people for a lot of our customers to sell sponsorship opportunities. There's a lot of graphics that you can sell as well as sponsored sessions. So how does that work within the exhibitor harvester?
Sure. So it's going to be collected via my favorite thing, tasks. So I've seen sponsored push notifications offered as sponsorship items. So exhibitors can purchase, hey, we want to sponsor a push to go out right before our big presentation. They will buy it in the expo, and the show management will configure a task for them, right? And in that task, the exhibitor will put the exact text they want displayed in the mobile app to go out to, thousands of people. It's all collected in the mobile app. Show management takes it out of there, puts it into the mobile app, and then we'll send it out. That can be the case for any sort of sponsorship graphics, for pushes, for sponsorship sessions as well. Those are configured in the Ed Harvester, which everything connects, right? And then any sort of anything else in the app basically is all collected in Expo.
So you mentioned tasks a lot. And I think with Cadmium, we all know, Cadmium is a task-based system. And we sort of pride ourselves on making it very easy for everybody using the tasks. Every sort of event tech specific product that you're going to use, you're going to have a list of tasks to get through. So I think what you're saying from super users, there's like the basic tasks that you're first, encountered with in Expo management, but it's also being able to go above and beyond those basic tasks and really take advantage of everything that is available. And I love that you mentioned also contractors. I don't think a lot of people oftentimes think of putting contracting information into the Expo Harvester, just because that's kind of like a whole other thing that doesn't really have anything to do with, the Cadmium side of things. But again, having that one-stop shop for you as a planner and for your exhibitors and sponsors, I think it's a really good thing to call out.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now we kind of get an idea of super users and sort of everything that they take advantage of us. What about these fan favorite features that you are like, these are the ones that everybody's sort of using? Talk us through them. What is it? How do you use them? Why do people like them?
Sure. So these fan favorites, more often than not, every expo is going to use at least 1 to 5 of these things, right? It's always included. It's always useful. The floor plan, whether or not you're linking it to EventScribe, or if you're a standalone expo, you will have up to 3 different types of floor plans. The interactive ones are all attendee facing. So the app user, the website user can click on a booth, and all of the data we know is going to flow right from Expo into that floor plan. So you click on the booth, it opens up, and you get everything you could possibly imagine that was collected. And
the sponsor, the exhibitor themselves, has control over what data
is exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, and my favorite thing is if they need to make a change mid-show, they just make a change mid-show. Nothing is ever locked down, you know? Super helpful.
And it's to that, it is everything that is collected, any changes that are made are real time. It will get pushed out in real time, the latest and greatest. The app continuously refreshes. So to your point, they're like, oh, that's not, the blurb that we wanted to have on there. We wanted to switch out the link. They can make that and it'll be live at their event.
Absolutely. I've seen companies just not show up at a show. So what do? You need to remove that data. You can't leave it there.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunate as it is. One of my favorite features, if you know me, I will babble on about scavenger hunt for ages and ages, right? It's the way to gamify everything, and it's played out, but I still think it is a gem. It is a delight. It's set up in the expo via our favorite, a task. The exhibitors will put in their question and answers, up to 4 answers, or true and false, get 2 answers. And then all of that is automatically uploaded into the mobile app and website where everyone can play it. And it's a way for adults to get competitive, right? And if you let us, we get competitive.
Yes.
So, especially if you're offering prizes. Like, I'm gonna get that Amazon gift card. So I've seen show organizers use this too as a way to move people around the whole venue, not just the expo hall. So it's great to move to booths, but you can also say, hey, this sponsored presentation down at the other end of the building, let's go there. You can have a question. So yeah.
I love that idea. I love as getting people around the building, especially some of our customers have huge event spaces, not just the expo hall, several floors of, data of sessions and stuff. So getting people around, I love using that. We use it at Cadmium Spark. We used it at our last Cadmium Spark. And to your point, it got very competitive.
Right.
People are serious about the answers and getting the answers and being able to get those prices. So it is something fun. At first, even when we were like, let's use it at Spark, I was like, are people really going to get into this? And to my surprise, I think it was one of the favorite things that we did around Spark. And I like using it to get a little bit of exposure to our exhibitors. So at Spark, also a lot of our exhibitors are our partners, our Cadmium partners, which are very near and dear to our hearts. And obviously we want everybody talking to our partners.
Yeah.
So having that as, hey, make sure to speak to this partner, make sure to speak to this exhibitor, learn a little bit more about them in order to participate in the scavenger hunt. I love that as being part of a way of using that scavenger hunt feature. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the Reg badges.
Sure. So the Reg badges, another really fun thing to set up for me. They can be used in conjunction with our registration system, EdgeReg, or they can be used standalone. Either one works. If you're using it with EdgeReg, it's really nice because it's all just kept in the Cadmium family system. But you can set up rules in the system to make it all automated, right? So if you have a 100 square foot booth, you can say, okay, every 100 square foot booth gets 2 complimentary Reg badges. And then as companies come in, buy their booth, the system goes, okay, I see your booth, here's 2 Reg badges. And then when those companies log in, they will see those 2 badges. Then we can also offer, hey, you can buy 2 more badges, another way to make some money, right? And all of those are collected in a task. The booth admin will go in the task and assign whoever's going to be on site with them. And that registers through the EdgeReg system, which then creates them that mobile app and website account. So that's how that data flows kind of all the way through to the endpoint, which is really cool.
And, we do a lot of integrations, but obviously I think the name of the game is if you use more than one of the Cadmium products and features, it's just our products were built to talk to each other.
Yes.
So being able to have that data that's just working, here it is. This is what you have over in Expo Harvester. We have that information over at EdgeReg, and then you could pay for everything back in Expo Harvester. It is just makes everybody's life much easier.
Oh, yeah.
comes to badging and registration and registering your expo staff and all of that. And that even, so now you say purchasing additional badges, like purchasing additional badges or purchasing marketing opportunities, all of that. That also happens in our Exhibitor Harvester. Tell me, that's one of your other fan favorites for marketing and revenue reporting. So let's get into how that works.
Get into the good stuff, sure. So there is a page in Expo. I'm sure many of you have seen it. It's the little sales folder with a little, dollar sign on it. That houses all of the incoming and outgoing money in the system. You can see who paid, who purchased what, who still owes you something, and who is totally, zeroed out. Any sort of sponsorship item or upgrade or booth or I think those are the three main ones, but you can configure them to be anything you want, really. Everything's tracked in the system. You pull up a couple of the reports. We'll give you different breakdowns of how things are organized. So some of the reports will give you a big picture of everything. Some get super in the weeds with, okay, so this was purchased, or I'll give you a company and then a line item for everything they purchased. And then with that, you can assign GL codes, which Cadmium really doesn't do too much with, but they are very important for some of our clients who need to keep track and itemize like what category of stuff was purchased. So I guess that's another, I guess that touches on the hidden gem. Ooh, getting ahead of myself.
Ooh, no, yeah. We'll save that one for the hidden gem. So, okay, so we're able to see sort of revenue overall for the event, right?
Yeah.
All of the revenue that's been brought in. So then we're also able to see per exhibitor, per sponsor, how much each of them purchase, how many add-ons they purchase or marketing opportunities that they purchase. And then I'm also able, I'm assuming, to see all of my marketing opportunities and what got purchased, what didn't get purchased.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the stuff that I wanted to sell, whether it was an email, an email blast communication that we want to sell, we do a lot of like the lanyards or sponsored activity or that kind of stuff. We could see what has been sold, what hasn't been sold. So then you could also push those campaigns. And I love to, see where everybody is to date prior to going on site. If you haven't paid up, then you're not going on site.
Right?
Yeah. And we take this for granted. We assume that everybody, uses our Exhibitor Harvester and is taking advantage of this, and everybody can use this kind of system. But we hear from a lot of our customers what a difficult time they have in seeing just that. We're about to go on site and I want to see where all of my exhibitors are, if I'm going to welcome them on site, or if I have to hunt them down for revenue or for their payment. And a lot of them can't. It's a very convoluted way to be able to do that. So I think this is extremely important, just to see, is everybody paid up? Can they go on site? Am I going to have a badge for them?
Exactly. Right. Yep.
Perfect. And then more fan favorites. We'll go back to your list. Tasks.
The tasks. We know and we love them. It is a little bit of everything, right? We have the standard ones in Expo, the company details, the logo, the contact information, the submit a payment, the terms and conditions. Everyone knows those. But then we also have several that don't get the love they deserve, if you ask me. We've got tasks that you can use to link out to different websites. That's where I see them, clients use them to link out to, if they need to order light or internet, they'll link out to that program through there. Or if they need to collect certain pieces of information, like, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you need to tell me something? Whatever it is, we use survey tasks. That's just the general information collection.
I like that, the survey task. So do you see a lot of our customers using the survey task? Like, what is this something that they use during the process, or maybe like post show to see like kind of what worked, what didn't work?
Survey may be a little bit of a misnomer. They use it because I'm always pushing it. It's one of those where it's like, oh, you need to have exhibitors tell you something. We're going to use a survey task. We're going to put a question at the bottom. Survey is just a way to ask a question, right? So we put a question at the bottom of the task, and it's either true or false, couple, multiple choice, or a text box. And it can be configured to collect anything you need. So it's not even just how was your experience. It's anything. It's open-ended.
So if they're going to participate in a maybe offsite event or something,
Exactly.
if we're going to have an offsite event and we want to know how many of our sponsors are going to be there, that's a great way to ask them. If they're going to participate, how many of them are planning to go to this offsite event? That's something else. So pretty much, yes, survey is a big, catch-all term, but pretty much any question that you need them answered.
Yes. It's the catch-all.
Is the catch-all for that task in particular. And it's funny with the tasks. I think our customers, being meeting planners, event planners, they love tasks. They love checklists. I think our customers are like checklist number one. We really do love a good checklist. And I think Cadmium's task-based system is just, they're happy to go through it and be like, done.
Yeah,
done.
right.
So, and not only are the event managers happy to do that, but also the exhibitors and sponsors. I've been on the other end of this,
right?
As an exhibitor, as a sponsor, and I love going through a checklist myself.
It's gratifying seeing the green check mark. Oh, I'm done. I did that.
I same. All right. So now we discussed tasks, worksheets, and reports, and I think there's sometimes a little bit of confusion between worksheets and reports. So walk us through these two and sort of what they both are, how they're different, how our customers are using them.
Sure, I would love to. Both of them generally do the same thing, right? The Expo Harvester collects a ton of data and it's stored in, little tables in the back end. So how do you actually see that data? Well, you go to the reports or worksheet pages. The worksheets are customizable. That's what sets them apart. It is little tables pulling in columns and columns of just information of any sort of theme or category that you could imagine. We've got worksheets for booths, for exhibitors, for sponsorships, for sponsorship items, for tasks, for finances. But worksheets are customizable at the end of the day. We have stock ones, you can edit and ones you can't edit, right? So if you've been there, you know how frustrating it is when you find a stock one, you're like, oh, I want to edit that. You make a duplicate and you edit the duplicate. Reports, however, are static. They are ineditable, uneditable. You get what you get. But the reports are broad. They pull in a ton of information, right? If you've been there, I get questions all the time. I need a report that does this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, let me go through my mental checklist and we're going to find you one because it exists. If one truly doesn't exist, you can always place an order for a custom report. Then we can pull in whatever fields you do need. But reporting, I'd like to say, is mostly finances, right? That's where a lot of our clients are looking for the overalls, the totals, the outstanding balances, as opposed to just what booth is company XYZ in. Yeah.
I like that. So reports is just kind of that library of reports that we have available to you and mostly used in the finance for financial reports. But worksheets are those editable, reports, anything and everything that you can, anything specific that you see used a lot in worksheets.
In worksheets, see, my favorite one, and I think the first go-to one, is the booth details worksheet. It gives you every detail having to do with an exhibitor in that booth. So what booth, what's the cost of it? Is it a corner booth? Is it an island? Does it have a different member versus non-member fee? You can change the color on the floor plan. You can change the rollover highlight color. It's everything having to do with a booth. Now, if you're looking for company data, that's in the exhibitors worksheet. So everything is a little bit separated. Sometimes you can't cross the streams, but sometimes you can, which is exciting. Everything is exportable too. So if you don't see what you need, you export to and you combine them outside the system in Excel, which is also, plenty of our clients do that too. Yeah.
Okay. So I know we're going to have Q&A towards the end, but I just wanted to get through one or two of these while we're here because people a lot of them have been coming through. So do you support priority points?
Yeah. If you've used them, you are aware that it pulls from the past exhibitors. It's sort of Cadmium's first right of refusal, right? So if you have some super users in the past that you know, you want to open up sales for them first. They are your big spenders. They're the headliners for you. You assign them a bigger priority point and an earlier date and time to go through the rental process. Priority points are only used with the Expo Harvester with sales. So that is how you open up the rental process to your important sponsors first.
Yeah. So even if so let's say you've had somebody who's been a sponsor for, been supporting your event for years, right? Let's say 10 years they've been supporting this event, and you want to give them a little bit of a leg up on things. You'll use the priority points to let them go in there first.
Yeah.
And then this one goes into, so can you support booth selection post sales or without a sale?
Booth sales without a sale.
Booth selection.
Booth selection.
Sales or without a sale.
We can do it. You may have to get a little creative. Is it when we say without a sale, are we talking without any monetary?
I'm assuming it's probably without them actually purchasing a booth at that point.
Yeah, so we can have, it's called booth preferences. We can use that. We have companies that'll say, okay, I would like booth 1. And then they put in a request for a booth almost. The system won't give them the booth because they're not technically paying for it yet, but they're requesting it, and then they have to go through the approval process on the back end. So
the meeting planner, or the organization at the end of the day has to sort of approve it and say, yes, this is what we're moving forward with. And probably that usually might happen at the point of payment. But yes, probably. They could request a booth. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we talked through all of our fan favorites, the reports, the worksheets. Anything else we wanted to mention on fan favorites? I don't know if there's...
I don't think so. If you get me going again, I'm just going to keep going.
All right. So let's jump into the hidden gems. I feel like there's like hidden temple. So the hidden gems of our Exhibitor Harvester. So what are these, Allison? Talk through these.
So it's not like the expo's trying to hide anything from you, right? I want everyone to know every inch and corner of it that I do. I want everyone in there. But some of the tools don't get as much love, like we were saying before. Some had their peak and they're not quite as popular now. Some of these, not everyone will need to use them, which is why they're not fan favorites. Reports, the hidden gem of the report is some different reports. People get overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed the first couple, dozen times I looked in there. But going through the reports, if you are using the booth tasks, the reg badge task specifically, the exhibitor contacts report gives you a list of everyone who took advantage of the reg badges, right? You need to see who's all going, who's all assigned to which company. Product showcase. This was a favorite during the pandemic times. The product showcase is a way for companies to promote their products. Instead of having the booth presence, they'll do it all online. So the product showcase will let them sort of feature what they want to. Everything is collected via the tasks again, and they add extra images or videos, links, diagrams. I've seen really cool scientific breakdowns of these. I think one of them was an MRI machine. That was really cool to go through. It's just a way for companies to promote a specific thing for that specific show. The booth selection task isn't widely used. Same with switch that. Rebooking tool isn't widely used because usually people just go through the rental process year after year and repeat the full thing. But in pandemic times, again, there was a lot of shows that had to cancel, unfortunately, but they didn't want to refund everyone totally. They were looking forward to the next year. They were already in the future. Like, okay, shows are canceled this year. We're coming back stronger next year. We will take all of your assets and money and anything you uploaded this year, and we're going to rebook you for the next year. Okay. Easy, hands off.
So even if let's hope we're never going to go through a pandemic again. But if for whatever reason, like we've had a lot of snow the last couple of days, hopefully there weren't too many cancellations, but it had got pretty grim out there. So if you do have to cancel for some reason, this is kind of like a copy and paste
Exactly.
of your exhibitors and your sponsors saying, hey, we're just going to take everything on to the next year.
Exactly.
If you do, can you also use this, let's say, again, to some of your the companies that have been supporting you for a long time? Can you also do that, saying, hey, you're definitely going to be here next year, you want to sort of kind of do the same thing, we could rebook you for 2024, 2025, and use it that way as well?
Yeah, I think you definitely
do. Perfect. And then, so that's rebooking. And you said booth selection task is a task where they go in and they actually select the booth that they prefer.
Exactly. So instead of setting up a full big rental process, sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's not even needed. You just need the company to pick their booth presence space. Throw in the task. That's what we did. Perfect. Same thing. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next one you have on this list, there's GL codes. So what is that? What is it? How's it used? What's it used for?
Yeah, man, nah. It confused me the first couple times I've seen it. And what's a GL code? I don't know. General ledger codes. Apparently, it's usually in the finance. I'm not a finance person, so feel free to laugh at me, whoever is finance in the audience. It's a way just to track or categorize the different types of purchase categories in the system. I know plenty, like someone will assign a GL code for the booths. So every booth gets this GL code. Every sponsorship item gets this GL code. And I guess you can pull it at the end of the day. It's all found in a handy dandy report and see how many of which or what was purchased exactly.
Okay. So they usually use that in conjunction with whatever their finance team has set up.
Exactly.
Be able to. Okay. That makes
sense. What I've gathered.
Perfect. All right. And then you could go on through your hidden gems. Differences between worksheets and reports. I feel like we kind of hit that a little bit already.
Done. Yes. If you don't know by now, send me a boomerang. We can hop on a call and I'll walk you through it.
Then maybe we just need one call. We got too many questions on this. I think maybe we need just one webinar on worksheets and reports and then go through all of them that are there. And then, like you said, the list of standard reports, even though they are standard, that you can't really, change them, but there is a really big, robust list of standard reports. So if you're thinking that your report might not exist, ask, because it might very well.
Very close one, yes.
There or something very close to it. So just, reach out and ask if you feel like your report doesn't exist. And then terms and conditions in the rental process. What is that all about?
Sure. This one is really handy, quite honestly. I didn't realize how handy it was until recently. A lot of times I've seen associations request, so everyone comes through the rental process, right? They have their account created. They start logging into the Expo portal on the exhibitor side. They want to have everyone agree to the terms and conditions before they can move on to their other tasks. They need the exhibitors to agree, to the cancellation, to, play nice with everyone, whatever else. So instead of having that in a task, we can link it directly in the rental process, and companies go through the full rental process, pick their booth, pick the sponsorship level, all the sponsorship items. Boom, they hit the terms and conditions before they even pay. So it's sort of forcing the terms and conditions in front of them, which is really nice. I know that's sort of necessary for some shows. Rules you need. So that one, there's a setting for it. Super easy to turn on. Again, if you need any help with it, send a boomerang.
Perfect. Yeah, I can see how that could be really important just right off the bat.
Yeah.
You even, submit any payment. Make sure you're agreed to our T's and C's. I'm going to jump into some questions because there's been a lot coming in. So we'll try to. So does Expo integrate with other vendors like A to Z?
It does. I have seen A to Z and Map My Show, Map Your Show.
Map Your Show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your show.
Yeah. I've seen data get pushed into Expo, get pulled out of Expo.
So in those terms, as you said, the data goes both ways. So from Expo, you set up Expo. What are they usually pushing out? Is it the sponsor names and their booths, or what do they usually
like what they're pulling out of it. I've seen, everything get pulled out, the company contact, all the financials, names. Yeah.
Perfect. And then it could go both ways. So if you're collecting any information like that in something like an A to Z, it could go into Expo Harvester. Perfect. The other one, the info recorded on site is saved locally, or does it need a connection to the cloud? I don't know what info.
So that related to lead retrieval by any chance?
It just says the info recorded on site. I'm assuming it is. Yes.
That's what mine goes.
With the notes that they might record on site. So yeah, so I'm assuming that was a lead retrieval question.
Yes. So lead retrieval, we know it works best when it's connected to an internet source, but not every expo hall has the free internet, let alone, any internet. So you download the app in the lobby where you do have that free internet. You get into the expo hall and start scanning all the badges for everyone that's coming up to your booth, because obviously you're the most important one there. And then you get your 57 leads in that first hour, right? Super exciting. All of it's collected. You hop back in the Wi-Fi, it gets beamed back up to the cloud.
Yeah. So you do have to be on a Wi-Fi type.
Yeah. So it is collected and saved, but to get into the reports.
Okay, I know there is an end user website for exhibit sales, but is there one for sponsorships?
The Expo Harvester doesn't make a distinction. It is all the rental process as a whole. We can configure it to only do sponsorships. We can configure it to only do booths. Usually it's both, and we give everyone the option if they want to skip the sponsorship or the booth page. So you shouldn't feel tied to, I need a sponsorship if I'm getting a booth, or vice versa. It's
really so. And I kind of cut myself off. Or do I have to log into an account to view the sponsorship opportunity? So were you saying no? We could. It's really how our customer sort of configures it. What the distinction that they want to make between exhibitors and sponsorships, and they can open that up. It will all still live in the Expo Harvester. It really depends on how the association or our customer decides to make that distinction. So if they have both exhibitors and sponsors, you should be able to see everything in the Expo Harvester.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So let's keep going. And what are we jumping to next? So data flow. So we touched a little bit on this, but let's get into data flow and what that looks like in Cadmium world.
In Cadmium world. So in Cadmium world, we know all of the data is stored within the harvesters, plural, for all different types, the 4 of them. But Expo, we hold all of the exhibitor sponsorship data. That is stored here. And then if you turn on syncing, we can connect it to the edge reg for the booth, the registration badges, brain's melting. So we collect the people part in the edge reg, right? And then to the event scribe, that is all of the good stuff. That's the assets, that's the logos, all the pretty things that you want the end user to see in the website, in the app. And the really cool thing about that is, instead of changing it in both the website and app, you change it in the Harvester and the changes are automatically made, right? So you're not having to go and change one thing in 5 different places. It's just one place, the changes get made.
I love that. And I think so many of our customers really do appreciate that, and love how that data syncs, and that not having to make the changes over and over again. I'll try to I know we're coming up on time, so I will try to get one last question here.
Sure.
Does Expo have a floor plan design to create the floor plan, or does one need to use another vendor's floor plan design to get an interactive floor plan?
Oh, that's a great question. So in the Expo Harvester, we have our admin floor plan where everything is, we call it mapped. When you map the booth, we create that interactive 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 10 by 20, whatever. So how it gets there is we collect the fire marshal approved floor plan that has been created out of the system. So that's just that flat PDF image with it's of the expo hall. It has the booths everywhere. It has, if you're having rounds, if you're having poster gallery on the side, any food beverage tables, that is already made outside of the system. Now, nothing's stopping you from making your own, but Cadmium doesn't have a sort of design your own floor plan situation. We just have a map your floor plan, which is taking what is already existing, bringing it into Cadmium, creating those interactive booths.
Perfect. All right. I think we've gotten through a lot of the questions, and I know we're kind of up on time. So we thank everybody this was very interactive. So thank you everybody for kind of going through those questions. Allison, thank you so much for your time. This was a great presentation.